La Argentina está en medio de una crisis económica, no es nuevo, pero también en medio de un escenario geopolítico realmente complejo. El tema de la energía y del litio ocupa un lugar central en esa crisis y también en el escenario geopolítico. No fue el agro, podrá ser vaca muerta o ahora la oportunidad del litio la que traiga dólares, un sector que traiga dólares a la Argentina y estabilice su economía. De eso vamos a hablar hoy en la repregunta. Y también de otra grieta, esta idea de Argentina tiene que tener una matriz productiva centrada en commodities extractivos, una matriz extractiva, o tiene que virar hacia una economía de mayor valor agregado. El litio otra vez en el centro de esa grieta. Vamos a analizar estos temas de la mano del emprendedor global que le ganó a Elon Musk a llegar a la Argentina interesado por el litio. Me refiero a Simón Litzin. Muchísimas gracias, Simón, por estar hoy en la repregunta. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I will be pleased to discuss the topic.
Le voy a contar a la audiencia quién es Simón Litzin. Acaba de llegar, estuvo la semana pasada en Buenos Aires y recorriendo el país. Se encontró con las autoridades del Ministerio de Economía de la Nación y también con autoridades, gobernadores de provincias como Salta y Catamarca, que son claves en el sector del litio en Argentina. Es el CEO y cofundador de Extralit, una compañía, una startup israelí del sector de extracción de litio y de desarrollo de valor agregado en ese campo. Es un emprendedor global que se mueve con mucha flexibilidad y capacidad de adaptación del mundo académico y científico al mundo de los negocios. En el mundo académico ha estado 30 años trabajando como profesor full-time del Departamento de Ingeniería Eléctrica en la Universidad de Tel Aviv y como en ese cruce de emprendedor y científico en 2010 recibió el premio especial al logro científico excepcional que entrega el Estado de Israel. Es doctor en ingeniería por la Universidad de San Petersburgo y además ha publicado más de 200 papers en revistas relevantes del mundo científico y ha patentado más de 60 invenciones. Así que un cerebro muy interesante para pensar este rol de la Argentina y el litio y en el mapa global. Simón, when you wake up each morning, I imagine that you have a very complex scenario in front of your eyes because the lithium is in the center of a geopolitical scenario, a very complex geopolitical scenario. There's a war on energy. There's a climate change worry that is very present across the countries in the world. There's also a war in terms of influence of different countries in this new world after the pandemic and after the war in Ukraine. So energy and the chances of transitioning to a new world based on lithium battery and EV, electric vehicles, is in front of your academic and scientific interest each day, and also in front of your business interest. So how do you see this scenario each day when you wake up?
Yes, first of all, I have to mention that I do not only wake up with the thoughts about lithium, I also go to sleep having these thoughts. And of course, it's a very serious topic. It's a topic that you are right, it's not purely a technological or industrial topic that has to be discussed. It's the topic that is standing in the center of the interests of the mankind, because we live at the revolutionary times. Unfortunately, they're not always developing in a positive way, like you have mentioned some of the wars that are happening. But in general, the situation is changing not only geopolitically, but there is a significant factor in the geopolitical changes that is due to the technological changes. We are passing from the previous paradigm that was driving the industry, that was based on oil, that was based on the minerals and on the use of the of the resources from the earth that were polluting our lives, that were, let's say, gave to some of the countries more power because they were owning some resources of these materials. And from the beginning of the 20th century, we know that the oil was equivalent to the power. Now we see a significant shift in this understanding, and that shift is due to the green energy that is coming, and there is nothing that can stop the progress. It's possible to slow down, maybe to prevent the new technology coming into our life, but eventually it will happen. And I want to mention that everybody understands the role of the electric vehicle transportations, but in general, all the projects and their billions in our life, they depend on the energy. We need energy for computational power. So everybody thinks that we have another revolution now coming. We are talking about artificial intelligence that will substitute many of the jobs, and it will be just in the next 10 years, we will see that many professions that were considered to be very valuable and respectful will just disappear. Many things that we are doing will move from people to computers, and if you think that is something that is orthogonal to the energy generation, it is not. So all the green energy things, all the green energy solutions, they require batteries.
Yeah.
Say they require lithium. But returning to the artificial intelligence, do you know that every inquiry, you send every prompt in ChatGPT is equivalent in the energy to the work of an electric bulb for 1 hour. So each time...
Just one prompt.
Just one prompt in ChatGPT, not in Google. Google is 4 orders of magnitude smaller energy consumption.
But the amount of connections that the list that artificial intelligence needs to make
computers have to sweat and to produce it, and you push a button for the ChatGPT. Think that you made an electric bulb to light for 1 hour.
It's interesting because Simon, many 3 years ago, the worrying was that the scaling up of the EVs industry would demand an amount of energy, and this is why lithium was very critical. So as to storage this energy. But now with artificial intelligence and the computation power of the artificial intelligence, the scaling up is goes even further.
So we are talking about such consumption or areas of consumption of the energy. It's electricity, it's air conditioning, it's a lot of things. Electric vehicles, also energy, and it's a lot of energy, but surprisingly enough, according to the forecast, just in 15 years from now, 10%, according to some forecasts, 10% of the total consumption of the energy in the world will be due to the artificial intelligence.
10%?
Yes.
When, in which?
In 15 years from
15
now.
years, just around the
till
corner.
2040. Yeah, so we are on the verge of a real paradigm change when the energy is not used around us, but for something that, for providing a deep thinking. And deep thinking also requires energy. So we should really understand that everything is related in this world. And if you think that the high tech and low tech that is related to the mining, no. It's all the same field. It's all the same revolution, and
the
it's
same
all
environment, the same system.
It's the system that we live in, and everything is related to. And you have started to talk about the wars. In fact, a significant component of the reasons for these wars to happen are due to the change in the geopolitical attitude towards the energy resources. As it was in 20th century around the oil, now there is a shift to other sources of energy.
Let's go directly to the lithium issue in the middle of this very interesting scenario that you are describing. Which are the solutions that lithium brings to the table, and which are the new challenges that the exploration and exploitation, the extraction of lithium produces in the environmental sphere or in the workforce sphere?
Yes, okay, so we will go just from the root to the use. So the first, of course, lithium is not for the generation of the energy, but we are the humanity is, mankind is tired from just eating oil and polluting the air, and all the traditional methods of the lithium, of the energy generation, unfortunately, they are not good for our future. And the more we use, the worse our future looks like from the ecological point of view. So we are looking at some ecological ways to generate energy, mostly related to the solar energy, to the wind energy, water energy, and so on. These are completely ecologically completely healthy solutions. However, they have a significant drawback that they cannot provide a constant permanent source of energy.
No?
Yes, so the sun is shining, but it doesn't shine for 24 hours, 365 days. By the way, in Andes it does shine, but unfortunately not for 24 hours, but there are no rains. So the solution definitely needs some intermediate storage of the energy. Moreover, you want to move this energy from place to place. You generate it in one location, you want to use it in another location, or you want to use it on a move. Yes, you want to take it with you and such that it will move your car.
As with a cell phone, we carry with us this source of energy.
Yes, cell phone is one of the examples, but we have, let's say, every person has on him or in his or her pack has several hundred grams of lithium. Okay, just to give you a feeling, so the lithium-based solution is the dominating solution now. The 99% of the movable energy or storage, energy for storage, is done by using lithium-based batteries. And in fact, you need quite a lot of lithium. So just to give you a feeling about how much you have in an average electric vehicle, you have around 50 kilograms of lithium carbonate. So 50 kilograms, it's slightly less than 10% of the total cost of the electric vehicle manufacturing. And since we have now about 12 million cars, and it's growing exponentially, the number of electric vehicles that are manufactured, so multiply 10 by 50, so you'll have 500,000 tons. In fact, it's very close to 1 million tons.
And if you add the artificial intelligence computer processing, you have to add an incredible amount of lithium.
Yes, even if you sit at home and do not move and just use we work remotely, but use computer, it will still be a huge consumption of energy that we have to somehow to back up with the lithium-based solution. I do not claim that it's the only solution. There are some alternatives for the storage, but as of now it's a strongly dominating solution, and there is no let's say, no other solutions that is on horizon for the next 10, 15 years.
But Simon, let me ask you this, because the lithium battery have been with us since the 1990s, no?
Yes. No, it's already from 30s, so it's for quite a long time. For at least, it's not yet 100 years, but it will be something.
The popular way of consuming,
in formula
with the cell phones.
Yes, so 90-something.
90-something, no?
Yes.
So this is not a new thing, the lithium battery. What is new in the world of lithium and batteries and storage of energy?
First of all, the consumption. The amount of lithium we need is growing. The scale grew with the electric vehicles. So just think that an average electric vehicle is like 5,000 telephones.
Yes.
And we have more than 10 million cars manufactured. So it's like 50 billion telephones, batteries manufactured annually. And all in all, it's just 1.5 billion telephones that are. So there is a significant change in the demand, in the demand of lithium batteries, so which is equivalent to the demand for lithium. So what has been lithium has some other applications, starting from medicine and all sort of ceramics and so on. But the electric vehicles, along with the green storage solution, every solar panel comes with the lithium with energy storage based on lithium. They increased the demand for lithium in such a way that it is unbelievable. It grows. So just to give you a feeling, we should increase the supply of lithium by 2030. So just in 5 years, 4 times from what we are, not plus 10%, not plus 100%. 4 times increase.
In 5 years.
Just in 5 years, we have to increase. So there is a significant hunt for the lithium. The batteries are improving at the same time, so the efficiency of the batteries is improving. Still, there is some basic parameter that's called energy density, and that is somehow hidden in the nature, in the physics of lithium, that allow us to forecast that this will be in spite of any improvements in the batteries if they are still lithium based.
And the new thing in the lithium sector is the problem of extraction, the method of extraction. You are very well known, and your company, XtraLit, is very well known because you bring to the table a new way of extraction, a direct way of extraction, opposed to the process of vaporization. Could you explain this and this?
Yeah, it's it requires some explanation. So the lithium is extracted for 100 years, and the traditional technology hasn't been changed for quite a while because it was satisfactory for the demand that existed for lithium. Now, as we have agreed upon the demand for lithium grows exponentially, you cannot go with the traditional technologies. And there are 2 ways of traditional lithium extraction. One is based on rock mining.
Yes, in
and
Australia.
It's mainly in Australia, but just to give you, it's a very dirty ecological, non-ecological methods.
Like the old model of mining, no, isn't it?
It's just, as you know, cement plants, so you don't want to live in the radius of 50 kilometers around
very
this.
Chemical impact.
Oh, it's a lot of dust. It's a lot of water that goes inside, a lot of energy. So it's dirty and by the way, not so cheap as the others. The other methods are due to the evaporation. So it's mainly concentrated in the so-called lithium triangle, which is, and here we are approaching already geographically the topic. It's between Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. And in Argentina, there are 3 provinces that are traditionally involved in this business. This is Salta, Catamarca, and Jujuy. And all this happens at altitudes from 3 to 4 kilometers, where salars, it's salty crusts.
Yes.
They are situated, but this salty crust is above reservoirs of very, very salty water.
No? Las
brines.
almueras, yes.
Yes. And these salty waters have a relatively high concentration of lithium. When I say relatively high, it's just 1 gram to liter. So could you imagine it's
Not that
in comparison, and you may have 100 grams of salt in the same. So it's still, as I like to compare, it's a needle in the haystack that you have to extract.
Yes.
So what is the traditional method? So it is, the water is pumped, so the drills.
Because it's underground and you have to make it
not
appear
it's not too deep, it's several hundred meters. So it's from 200 to 500 meters, so it's a relatively easy drilling. And you pump this water to the surface, and on surface you organize so-called evaporation ponds. They are really shallow ponds that take huge territory, and after it you wait, and here we come to the understanding what direct extraction means, because this is indirect, because you are waiting for 2 years.
Yeah, you have to, it takes a lot of time. It is cheaper than extracted from the rock in Australia, but it takes much more time. It's less efficient in terms of time.
It's unbelievably inefficient from You have to wait from the moment you have pumped. You have to wait from 18 to 24 months just to have its sufficient water, amount of water to evaporate, and after it you have a chemical.
And Simon, it also has another side effect, is that, and this is the problem of the war on water. It demands a lot of amount of liters of water, so as to make these big pools exposed to the sun and the process of evaporation.
Yes, so it's there is a fresh water that is involved in the whole chemical process. I'll not get into details, but it requires huge amounts of fresh water. So just it more or less it goes for 1 ton of lithium carbonate, you have to spend like 1 ton of fresh water. So it means that you are spending a huge amounts of water, and this is not just that there is no, for example, if we are talking about the Argentinian sources of that are in high altitudes. It really makes problems, for example, for local populations.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to use it water for agriculture, and they just stolen from the water sources.
So how does your method work? Because the direct method of extraction, what does it mean, direct?
Okay, so direct means that you just take the brine. We also start from the brines. And I must say that the salars are not the only sources of brine. It can be just, as an example, water from the Dead Sea in Israel and Jordan.
Okay, you have been working over there, no?
Yes, or the Great Salt Lake, or water that is coming with the oil when the oil is produced, or the geothermal brines. All of them, if they are coming from the right geological formations, they contain some concentrations of lithium. The concentrations are low there, and moreover, because of the climate restrictions, you cannot really use the evaporation as a step in its production. So we are talking about the direct lithium extraction, meaning that we synthesize some powder that's called sorbent. We put this powder in the columns, and we stream this brine from these columns. On the other side of the column, the brine gets out almost the same as with the same chemical composition
Yes.
as it had entered the column, with only one small difference. The lithium has been caught by the powder.
And how long does it take?
It takes, it depends on the size of the columns,
Yeah.
but it takes hours.
Hours.
Maybe
Against
minutes.
2 years with the other method.
Yes.
Okay.
So all in all, but there is some next stage of the product of the extraction that takes. All in all, it's, let's say, takes several hours up to 1 day to from the brine to convert the brine to
Why
lithium.
are the other companies not using this kind of method?
No, it's a question that first of all, it's not only technology, it's a question of the sources. You have to guarantee sources of this and to get permissions for sources that are containing significant amounts of brines. All the companies that are developing this direct lithium extraction technology are negotiating some involvement in the ownership or some, let's say, licensing of the technology for that.
But so as to understand better, the companies that are working in Argentina, that are exploiting lithium in Argentina from Canada, Australia, China, and other countries, are they using the traditional methods, the brine method?
Let's say 100% of the
100%,
production
yes.
is by traditional
And
traditional
why
methods.
are not using the new technology?
First of all, it's really fresh.
It's really fresh.
Yes,
Because you
so-
created your company in 2021. Yes.
But there were some companies that were started, let's say, in the end of 10th of this century. Still, there was not clear understanding that the demand for the energy storage will make such a huge jump.
Okay.
And when it was realized, it takes time till the technology reaches some maturity. There are already some implementation of this technology in China, mostly, but in other parts of the world. So there are many good sources of lithium, including Argentina. We will talk about it, I hope. That are really good for direct lithium extraction, but it takes time to. Also, you have to drill, you have to prepare, you have to build, you have to get permissions. It's
the process
it's not that
of arriving to a new
yes.
country with this
Right.
business.
Moreover, let's say in Argentina, I want to specially emphasize it that we are all excited about the economical climate that is changing in Argentina. And for us, it's a very serious argument to consider investing in Argentina and bringing new technologies here, because we were not so convinced that the economical conditions are sufficiently stable and liberal for such companies like ours to enter. Now we follow the changes and it really affects our decisions.
Let me ask you this. You met President Milei and la canciller Diana Mondino in February when they visited Israel. And you were here in Buenos Aires last week with Minister of Economy, Luis Caputo, and his team, so as to, think of this investment you want to do of $104 million.
It is the total interest we have from the investors we are talking to.
Okay. You said that you decided to make this big investment because of the the business climate has changed in Argentina after the arrival to power of Javier Milei. But why aren't you going to Chile, where there is a very stable economy in the same political spectrum that Javier Milei is trying to create here in Argentina, very pro-oriented, pro-business development? Why do you decide to come to Argentina, not to Chile? Chile is the #1 in exporting lithium all over the world and producing lithium. This is because, and let me ask you this is because of the royalties that they are very cheap in Argentina compared to Chile?
Not really. So I'm going to Chile after Argentina, so
okay.
let's assume they do not see your program.
You are thinking of investing also in Chile?
No, it's one of the options. So we are testing all the sorts of possibilities.
Yes.
One of the main markets for electric vehicles is the United States and Canada, of course.
Yes.
And there are federal initiatives and laws that are related to critical minerals that define really support producing of the minerals, critical minerals including lithium, supporting local, at least not local, but manufacturing it in the countries with which the United States have free trade agreement. In all South America, and this was the topic of my conversation with Mrs. Diana Mandina, that in all South America, Chile is the only country having the free trade agreement.
Absolutely.
And also today we were discussing the possibility of that clearly Argentina is moving in the direction of establishing or upscaling the trade relations with the United States,
Okay.
which are critical for this. So just to give you a feeling, it's starting from 2026, if more than 80% of the materials that were used for electric vehicle manufacturing were extracted in the countries that have free trade agreement
Yes.
with the United States, then it's $7,500 gift from the government,
Yes, yes.
which is 1/3 or 1/4
Yes.
of the price of the car.
Yes,
Very
yes, yes.
significant. Okay, and of course our decision to go to Argentina is really will be, and of course the investors that are coming will be affected if there exists such an agreement, and this we were discussing with your government authorities. However, in Chile, the role of the SQM, the leading company, the Sociedad Química Minera, it's so dominating that in Argentina this ownership and the interest are distributed or given to provinces, and this makes me feeling better because whenever the central government takes too much on it, it's much more difficult to make business. And I must say that I'm following, and you know that Mrs. Diana Mandina, she's economist by education, so she was really cooperative in discussing things, not as a politician, but as an economist.
But would you be ready to invest if the royalties, because here you have to pay, the companies that extract lithium have to pay around 3% of in terms of the price of the lithium in the entrance of mine, compared to 60% in some cases in Chile. Would you be ready to invest if there is a change, if there is an increasement in the royalties that Argentina put to the extraction and exporting of lithium?
I want to share my sentiments here, so let's put aside economics.
Okay.
I'm a long-time supporter of the economical ideas that are promoted now by your president, and I believe it's the first in history, let's say, real check of such ideas on the ground, because some other ideas like communism, they're checked hundreds of times and always failed. The other socialistic ideas were a failure. The libertarian ideas were never tested on the ground. So I have a personal sentiment to bring investment to Argentina and to help the changes that are coming, it will affect not only Argentina.
Okay.
If it succeeds, it will affect the whole world, and it will give the model that will be followed by other countries. So that's my belief. I do not insist. Now, of course, the percentage somehow affects the decision, but I'm pretty sure that a lot that Argentina really needs an influx of investment now due to the external debt, and there are many things to be done in the country with the investments. And I believe that the government has sufficient ability here to make the laws or to make the conditions sufficiently attractive for us. If it's not today, then in 1 year we will see if the government sees that this is the showstopper. I believe it will. There are people to talk to and to discuss and to agree, especially on the big investments. There will be some special regulations. I think that the government is now looking for very big investments. Lithium is a very important part. So I do not have any, let's say I'm completely sure it will be adjusted.
Simon, the two final issues. The first one, here in Argentina there's a debate regarding the model of production that the country has to embrace in terms of should Argentina be an extractive economy based on commodities, or we should be focused, or should we focus on, for example, value added,
economics, yes.
For example, building infrastructure, industries, so as to build batteries here, chips in Argentina, and with lithium produce batteries here in Argentina. This is an ongoing conversation we never reach a solution to this debate. You have decided this investment not only to extracting lithium, but also you are planning to build a laboratory. What does it mean in terms of investment?
This is we believe that we need to have some local, both representatives and local ability to prove the technology. We have started this already in some other places, but we also think that we could make some impact in the, let's say, general climate, industrial climate, and this what will bring you and this additional value we were talking about. So the more educated, it doesn't go, so you cannot just educate people without giving them the sufficiently professional works of the same level of education that education gives. So you cannot start education without having the economy to be. So this is a related system, and this should go together. One of the steps in this thing could be establishment of a laboratory. We already discussed today just having some such an arrangement in Salta, that we put a laboratory, we train local specialists, and we will see if it grows.
The idea is to training the specialists in the method,
in chemical processes. Yes.
But you are not planning of. Are you thinking of going up or going down the added value chain and refining the lithium here in Argentina? Because China is the big, the strongest player
player
in the field of refinery, no?
You know that more than 90% of the batteries that are manufactured now are manufactured in Far East. So
In where?
Far East.
Far East, okay.
Yes, so you cannot really rely on it, and you know that geopolitical situation may change to this or that direction, and you cannot really
Compete
be relying on supply from a very concentrated area. So it should be distributed. I think I'm not the best person to be asked, but President Milei had meetings recently with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And I just made to add to what we know. And of course, it's discussion not only about the supply of lithium, of increasing the supply, and now all the electric vehicles manufacturers really need increased supply, but also about establishing some gigafactories with production of the not only the raw materials but also the devices or the let's say cathode and anode materials. So my understanding of how the world is moving is that the more let's say the more complicated are the technologies involved, the more educated should be the population, and this population will be generating new.
It's an incentive, so
it's not that you may, let's say, touch here and not affect here. This will be the system that will be moving in the general increase of the professionalism and, of course, the more complicated projects.
The two last questions. Last question is, last question is, in 2009 we appear in the scenario of book launchings, a very interesting book, Israel Startup Nation. The authors were Dan Senor and Sol Singer, about how was possible that Israel turned into a startup in the field of technology. It was the leading country with companies in the NASDAQ list. So in some way you are part of this environment also. Which is the role of the state in this environment, and which is the role of the private sector in this very important development of the technology sector in Israel?
I think this question just requires that you invite me for another 1 hour interview, and I will try to. It's a very interesting question because it's really not simple and not all.
You're an example of this. You belong to the academic world.
By the way, Tel Aviv University holds, I think, the first or the second position in the world in the number of the alumni that founded unicorn companies. So it's not Stanford, it's not MIT, Tel Aviv University. So and other Israeli leading universities are the 3 universities among the 10. So it means that there is something. So there are several things. It's not just one factor, but the things are that there is a model that is, each nation has its model for reproducing and for success. I clearly understand that being a player of Barcelona sounds like a good career, but clearly there are not sufficient number of positions that can be occupied by the people. So in Israel, the model of the startup success and that you are supposed to take a risk rather than doing nothing. So the attitude towards failure is completely different than in many nations. People taking risk, failing, taking another risk, and because of it, the percentage of the success is quite high. And this is somehow supported by the whole infrastructure. An interesting thing that the army services playing a very significant role. There is army training in technology for some selected parts of the army, where they get a very good education about the technological training, and also they're gaining experience in leading projects, being at the age of 20. There is state support for the investment. There is a good investment climate. And there are many other parameters that make it so Israel, the country that is twice smaller than Buenos Aires. Yes, and we have 10,000 startups. I don't know how many in Buenos Aires, but I think there should be some more startups to establish.
And the last question, I can't avoid you asking about the situation that Israel and the Israeli population is living today regarding the attack of October the 7th. But I want to connect to the business environment, because you spoke about certainty, how important it is certainty, a horizon of certainty when you have to invest big amounts of money. So in the middle of this war that is Israel is facing after the attack, in the middle of the political turmoil that Israel is living because of the opposition and the support of Prime Minister Netanyahu, how are businessmen and businesswomen, how is the business environment reacting to this level of uncertainty? Have you changed your parameters when you decide to invest in Israel or in other countries because of this very changing scenario?
Of course, the 7th of October is a huge trauma for the whole nation. It's something that so still difficult to digest for me and for all the people around me.
As a person, as a businessman.
It's really a personal trauma that you wake up in just completely different feeling about your security. Usually the life you are organizing your own life such that you feel secure. If there's some insecurities, you try to avoid it in some way, and here suddenly just your world goes completely in the wrong and unexpected direction, and to adjust your brain, to adjust your style of life to it will take for me and for my people will take really some time. Hopefully we will have a cure from this. And of course it's not so simple for us in the world, because we do not get support that we should deserve, as far as I see, due to the, let's say, to a war between a modern nation that is dealing with barbarians, terrorists that do not, they are not accounted at the same level as we are, and this is very difficult for us. I just want to mention that we are really grateful to Argentina here. Argentina is one of the 9 countries that voted for Israel in the last vote. In the United Nations we have not many friends, very few friends, and currently Argentina is one of the dearest friends to Israel.
According to your point of view, the support of President Milei to Israel is a business factor also to consider?
I want to exclude here the support is moral, and I believe it's not only of President Milei but the whole people of Argentina support us. At least we would like to feel like this. And once again, I'm extremely grateful for this support. It's worth a lot. Now, regarding the business, I have described this powder that we are synthesizing for the direct lithium extraction, and our manufacturing facility plant is just 500 meters from the border of Gaza Strip.
Okay.
And in contrast, there is a war going, and there are missiles. It was out of operation just for 2 weeks, and after it continued. Surprisingly enough, so we definitely have a big spendings in the economy, in the local economy. The stock market was not affected by the war. So it means that there is still trust of the international technological and investment community, investors community in the stability of the technology. Our company didn't feel was not affected by the war, but the war is not over, and a lot of things can happen. There are changes of powers in now the elections in many countries. So, well, we will be doing our best, and we will see how it evolves.
It has been very interesting to listen to you, Simon. Thank you so much for
Thank
being here
you.
en La Repregunta.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Gracias.